Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. It is a Sunday afternoon here in Florida, and Mother Nature is bearing down on me outside. So if, in the event, we lose connection here, guys, you know why. Give me a moment, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see how things go. So, of course, just as soon as I decide to go on the air this afternoon, a storm decides to blow in. But we are definitely live on Twitch. We're live on X. We are also live on YouTube. I cannot wait for you guys to meet our guest today. Before we get there, we've got some announcements. I premiered earlier today, Chapter 2 Next Level. It is now officially over on our YouTube page at CCP Podcasting. Just look under the live events playlist, and you can check out what we had going on right here in California, because that's coming next. Right here in Orlando, Florida. Right outside of Orlando and Castleberry. Devious Cast and GMJ was our main event. We had, JT Mattioli in the ring with Skrilla the Great. We had the Pump Line in the ring with Reese Maddox and Kid Kuda. Also, G4 was in the ring with Matthew Ennis, Slade Porter, and Big Boy Patty. It was a 5-person scramble. It was 9 matches, all show. It was a fantastic night, and you can relive it at any time over on our YouTube platform. But there's no rest for the weary, because Chapter 3 is right around the corner. That is Good Vibrations. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, it is going to be a happening. It's going to be a fun weekend of events in Southern California. I'm calling it a SoCal party. That's what I'm calling it, because on Friday night on the 27th, we're going to be at Millennium Pro Wrestling. I'll be there to call the action while our own Dallas Dash will make his MPW debut in their Millennium Cup tournament, taking on Kodo Hero. And then on Saturday afternoon, our live event on the 28th, Good Vibrations, headlined Best of 3 Falls, the Pump Line and the Brothers Divine. Also already announced Heavyweight Championship Tournament qualifier, CJ Tino, Mr. 551, and Devious Cass one-on-one, plus J2 Mattioli and Skrilla the Great Part 2. Skrilla, I saw how that went down in Castleberry. No, sir. J2 in his own turf, if you will, in Southern California is getting a shot at exercising a little bit of revenge. And as I can say, guys, card subject to change. I do have some bad news. Our friend, wink nod, Chuck Mercer, suffered some broken ribs this weekend on Friday night in Chatsworth. So I'm told. I think he's a gutless coward, and he's backing out of his match with Dallas Dash. However, all things considering, you say when something happens and you got to go, card subject change, you got to go bigger. Well, thankfully, in Chuck Mercer's case, anything is bigger than him. So in the event that this has happened, listen to this, guys. Fresh off the presses with Millennium Pro Wrestling. Dustin Jack Daniels, the national heavyweight champion, will put his championship on the line against Dallas Dash. I will be in Dallas's corner. And Chucky's a little hurt to get in the ring, but he'll be in the corner of Dustin Jack Daniels on the 28th. So we'll have a Millennium Pro Wrestling, a national heavyweight championship match on deck, pending Dustin Daniels does retain along the way. If he does happen to lose that championship, real rest for the weary. Singles match is still going down. So that will happen on the 28th. Your tickets are at ccppodcasting.com. I apologize. That was a long rant, but it had to happen, guys. First of all, shout out to everybody joining us. UK Paul, I see you on Twitch. Shannon, I see you. We got Wendy, got you on Twitch as well. UK Paul, everybody's loading in. If you have questions for our guest today, feel free to drop them. We'll get them worked in. He comes to us from Southern California. And if you're, paying attention to anything on social media, they've got a massive show coming up on the 7th of March. It's actually their first show. And my guest today is just a co-founder of this organization. It's Heart and Pro Soul is the name of the company. March 7th, this big event's happening. Let's get him in here. Let's chat with him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Bell. Mr. Phil, how are you, sir?
Chris, thank you so much for having me, buddy. I was hearing the weather has decided to come upon you. It's not looking that great here in California. But just a heads up, actually from Northern California, Heart and Soul is a company that isn't really based any one place in California. This kind of all came together with me and my co-founder, TJ Black. Wasn't the easiest place to find venues, surprisingly, in our immediate area where I'm from. And there's a lot of other promotions running in Northern California. And I felt like sometimes it's better to make an impression to people who are more familiar with you by not working with the people that are most familiar with you.
You guys are based in Northern California, and I like the notion that you're utilizing the whole kind of like state. right? And I was getting to us being able to fall into Primal, which was through Millennium. You know, we fell into Millennium Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling, and Danny Devine was like, "Man, if you like what we got going on here, you need to check out J2. You need to check out Primal Pro." And we did. Same thing. It just sucked straight in. So to wonder, it's not like that. It's like, wonder what do they put in the water, period, in California? Because as we're looking deeper and deeper into the scene, there's a lot, and there's a lot happening. So when you guys decide to really put this thing together and put together what Heart and Soul is, and start thinking about the first show and the concept, because there's been a lot of preparation to it, and for a guy who just started doing live events himself, like I think that we will be able to connect a lot on this, because I don't know about you, I've always did this from the worker side of the equation when I was in the business, never from a booker or a promoter or you are the decision maker, right? You are the guy who has to determine it all, and you got a good group that you're working with. So let's chat a little bit about this. What made you guys come together and want to put together Heart and Soul Pro? What was the initial mission statement, if you will?
Well, I can definitely relate to what you were saying from the way you initially approach this, from what angle are you coming from? I think a lot of the experience that I got as a worker is really integral to me knowing how to make this really flow. Thing about myself, but the one who was the man who initially trained me in professional wrestling was a man named Rick Luxury, a 20-year plus veteran of Northern California, who I met when I was only 8 years old through family and through friends, and his little brother, introduced me to him, and they have a wrestling ring in their backyard. So it was from a really, really young age. I got to see behind the scenes of wrestling and kind of how you put a show together way before I probably ever should have, seen that curtain open. And from getting to see it through so many different lenses, through as a fan, getting to see it as someone who has a little bit of an in on the business, but then also getting to see it as a worker, it's been crazy, man. It's been important to be a part of so many teams that I have, to wear the hats that I've had. I definitely got to give a big shout out to like West Coast Pro in California. I was training under them for a brief period, and to really be a part of their team and putting together these shows. And when you get to see a company that runs like a well-oiled machine, I think it can really help you with, putting something yourself together. And so to see promotions like them, getting to see the Underground Wrestling Alliance based in San Jose with Anthony Trevino and what they're doing. Agua is an incredible company who I would really say was like our biggest inspiration. Them and Pro Wrestling Gorilla. So gotten to see so many different iterations of what a good wrestling show looks like to me, and then what a not so good wrestling show looks like, because I've definitely wrestled on them. So coming together with my partner TJ, we've known each other for a long time. We initially trained together under Rick Luxury in Concord, California, and it's been a long time coming for sure. You said there's been a lot of preparation, and it's an understatement. This company's, from the very first time where we discussed it, we got the logo created, we really created the identity. It was maybe almost 2 years ago, and having our first show coming up this March, we did not rush the process with getting this started. I think I've seen so many iterations of guys who, I come up with in the business, start their own company, do their own process. And it's not really a style that I wanted to do. I'm not in this to do a once every other month kind of show, where we're trying to make this really similar to where if we come to your area, you know that you're going to get an incredible wrestling show, but we're going to bring someone incredibly reputable to do a seminar. We want to have the fans be able to meet these reputable wrestlers. We have a vision, and that vision really is the complete opposite of low effort, and that's what we're here all about. We want to utilize that, all the stars that we have in California, and we want to bring in big names. Challenge. I think the biggest moments in my wrestling journey was when I was trusted to go against a veteran or someone who was reputable, who could guide me and help really bring out the best in me. And that's what I want to do with all the people who we have on our roster. And definitely why we wanted to partner with Primal, because there's so many people in that locker room who we know deserve some really big matches that they necessarily haven't wrestled yet against these guys. So first time matchups galore, dream matches, whatever you want to call them. This is a workhorse promotion, and that's the vision we've had from the very start.
I can attest to that. Like on the backside with what I'm doing with live events, I just the platform I never thought was gonna ever do anything really because we never intended to. We just started watching independent wrestling. Reality is this, and I say this all the time. I got stoned and I threw a dart at the map and it landed in Australia. And that's how that's how the independent side of this platform started. I was working with several guys prior to this, and we were doing some just kind of dicking around, not really doing anything. And just it wasn't fun. And I was just like, man, I want to do stuff. I want to do this. I want to do something I want to do. And I'm not big into the mainstream scene and haven't been for a very long time. I'm more on the indie side because I truly feel like this is where our investments need to go here because this is the crop that's going to be entertaining us for the next several decades. So that's where it started. And as we've grown into doing live events, the mentality for us is to get guys that for us, first of all, utilize affiliates and companies that we've developed really good relationships with. They have really good hidden gems. Primal as the example here. We got to bring out J2 and the Pump Line and G4 and and there's more that will be coming out this way. Jake Redondo is going to be coming out this way. Guys that are being able to do stuff in new states and put them in the ring with different opponents and put them in the ring with people that I think they're going to jive and work well with. And in the process, let these guys network with each other. And hopefully in the future, let's say Skrilla comes out to Southern California for a couple of weeks on a vacation and J2's running. Well, there's a connection there. There could be an opportunity for them to do something down the line. Hopefully, and that's the delusional optimism, but is to give these guys the opportunity to work with people and be seen in different eyes and in front of different eyes. And I think that's the beautiful thing about what we do and how we do
And
it.
independent wrestling has gotten so big that the more bridges that you can really create, I can't see a better benefactor from that than the fans of pro wrestling. And where I can definitely attest is that well before I started the journey myself, I loved, working, getting that paycheck, going to an indie show, meeting 5, 6, 7 of my favorite wrestlers, getting to actually talk to them, getting to tell them when I became a fan of their work, buying their merch. That's stuff that I was always really stoked as a fan to experience. And I didn't know that Northern California was as precious as it was in the wrestling scene until I started kind of looking at the entirety of the country, and you start figuring out, there's great wrestlers everywhere. But it's really nice when you can look at the area that you grew up in and that you spent you cut your teeth in, and you can then start to help contribute towards it. Um, I was a part of a few teams that I didn't think utilized me and didn't give me like the seat at the table that I really wanted to. So I built my own damn table. And now we're here trying to really give some people some premier matches. And like you said, it's building those networks with people and giving it to where if someone's going out to a new area or wants to go travel in the other part of the country, they have work and they got connections and they're able to improve their craft. That's what this is all about. Know that Heart and Soul Pro Wrestling will ever step into the developmental side of it and open our own school. But what I do know is that I've prided myself for a long time on being able to have a wide lens and know as many wrestlers as I could. And I love doing the game where it's like, let's just name them off until you don't know who I'm talking about. And where you start to really get the cream of the crop guys. And like I said, some of these guys are Serta mattresses. They are slept on. And they need some
Well,
matches that are going to bring their talent out where you can see what they're capable of. I would
we
say the biggest one is Dave Dutra. The underground icon, Dave Dutra, is a 20-year veteran. And on March 7th, he's going to have the chance to wrestle TNA superstar Mustafa Ali in what I think is one of the biggest matches of his career. And I think a match that will show Mustafa Ali that there is so many wrestlers out there that he's never heard of that he absolutely should be aware of, because this is what it's all about. Like I said, it's a workhorse promotion, and I'm very excited to what we're going to bring to the fans with that match and the many more that we have to bring for them.
There's a lot that's going to be on tap here. Now, you said something there that I do want to just circle back around on and point out. And you said that there's no way at this point Heart and Soul's putting together a training school. You don't have to, because the beautiful thing about Primal is that it is a training school, and in a way, it's kind of like what I'm doing when we partner up and we're doing these multiple cities, and even with Orlando, I'm partnering up with training facilities. And because there, at this point, I can just come and rent your space, right? It's going that is going to your rent or your company or whatever. First, that's the first thank you, and now I'm able to say, all right, now that's out of the way. Let's see what we can do about paying these guys. And that's the next thing, like in the next big step in any kind of promotion and any kind of deal. But being able to utilize these opportunities, Southern California, partnering with Millennium Pro Wrestling in Chatsworth, we're able to hold the show there. San Antonio Wrestling Community, we're able to hold the show there. This doesn't work without everybody. And I think building those relationships along the way is very crucial. And if you do have people that you do bring in and they do say, hey, you know what, maybe, it could be like a Live Danger situation. I talked to Danger Ross not too long ago, and he and Livewire Charlie just up and moved to Southern California just for the opportunity, right? So you could put people in a locker room at some point and there be that opportunity, and it could change someone's career. It could change the trajectory, and it's a very positive thing.
In 2020, at the very tail end of the year, I got a letter saying that I got accepted for the second class of the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta, Georgia. And just like you mentioned, how those brothers came down to SoCal and to chase an opportunity, it's something that I've seen a lot of people do from a lot of different schools across the nation. And I think it's a really cool thing that wrestlers are capable of putting together such structured camps to allow people to come in to learn the business. I think, especially for me, what I learned at the Nightmare Factory, it's like one of the most hands-on people to all of my development and learning was Glacier. It was Ray Lloyd. And he's a salt of the earth, one of the best guys around. When the business has more people like that in it, I look forward to what the next 20, 30, 50 years of pro wrestling looks like, especially on the independent level. And I respect it, Chris, because you and me are pretty much, it seems like our brains are on some very similar things. When you can help, pay someone's rent and get some bills paid, put on a good show and help the scene, grow in the process, that's the goal. It is absolutely our goal. Hopefully have some people who are not only just fans, but people who are possibly interested in getting into professional wrestling. People have asked us already, if we have any advice to getting into wrestling. And I always say, you need to find a reputable school. And if you're not sure of where that is or who that is, then you can ask some people and they'll point you in the right direction. It's important to me that wherever we go and whoever we work with them, I hope there's at least 1, 2, 3 people that go up afterward and are interested in getting involved in the business, because it's a fun business. It's a lot of hard work, and some people, I think, take a lot of the opportunities for granted, but you also have so many people that become diamonds under the pressure and who get opportunities. And I know what it means to them because I know what it meant to me when I got those opportunities. So it's really cool to see what you're also doing, man. I've been following your shows, and when we set this up, I think you were just about to have your second show.
Yeah.
I was paying attention to everything, and it's a lot of work being able to have that many, hands in different parts of the world. But when you can get it established, and like you said, when you can build a community and a good team, good things happen, and the fans benefit from it probably greater than everybody else.
I think so. But I think a lot of it's trial and error, right? Like it just is. And
Absolutely.
with me, it's like I learn every show. Here I am thinking this one was great. We did a premiere of it today, and as we're watching it back live, I'm watching it with one of my co-hosts, and I went, oh shit, I missed that. Oh fuck, I missed that too. Oh, where's the music there? Oh my god. It's like I'm my own worst critic, right? But I know that this shit ain't gonna be perfect by the end, by any means. Nothing is. But at the end of the day, like I just want to give it my best shot. Like I think that the world that we live in it can be so negative and is so negative at a lot of instances. Like I think that we can do something positive. And I think, for me, it's more about building these bridges. Like I don't give a fuck about fame, fortune, any of that. It's not why I'm here. What I'm here for is to use the connections that we've been able to build internationally. We're an international brand, and I for me to say that, it's just like I almost want to laugh because I never thought that this would even be a thing. But we are. We have a massive following, and I think that it's kind of insane. But I want to use this for good. We have the opportunity to put everybody's work every week in front of new audiences. Hundreds of thousands of eyeballs a month see new shit. And that is the ultimate win. Is if we can convince them, the fans and the people who see our content, oh shit, maybe we should go follow this talent or go follow this company or go do this or go do like, yeah, man, that's what you need to do. And we have this
If you
opportunity
would have
to be that bridge.
if you would have told me when I was a kid at like, can you imagine like being a wrestling fan, like and being, 14, 15 years old in today's day and age? It's like, dude, my mom wouldn't be able to take me from the couch. Like I would have been stuck on, no, I'm watching this promotion in Indiana. No, I'm watching this promotion in Texas. It's like there is so much out there. And the fact that you can do that yourself and hopefully give people a resource where they can follow more eyes and get, so that's the goal. We want to help grow the business, and I think some people want to help grow it more than others. I think some people are very, they have their heart set on what they want to do, they want to run. Always so frustrating for me as a wrestler wanting to, send an email and reach out, and then you either get left on red or you said, we'll think about it, and then you never hear back 3 months from now. I really implore people, if you want to travel, if you see that Heart and Soul Pro Wrestling is announcing a show in your area or in an area that is 2, 3, 4 hours away from you, or a distance that you're willing to drive, shoot us an email, shoot us a DM. There's a couple people that got on to Heart and Soul One by shooting an email and by just being professional and by letting us know that they really wanted to get on and that they wanted to work with us. And that's what it's about. I mean, I ain't got a spot for every single person.
I bet. Yep.
Fortunately, I'm running 5 hour 12 match shows, but it's you want to see people get better and you want to present people the opportunities. I can tell people, hey, I don't got a spot for you on my show. Can at least tell them we are running a seminar with someone who is extremely reputable, who you can get better by learning from. And if you can't wrestle on a show, you should be at a seminar learning. Never be having a blank weekend in the professional wrestling business. So trying to just add to it, man. And like you said, seeing the trial and error, brother, I'm willing to go anywhere, but we fly up to Timbuktu or Poughkeepsie, who gives a shit, and then 5 people show up, probably never show up to your show again, your town again. So it's trial and error for sure. And when you put limitations on where you can go anywhere.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like I give up. I don't even give it a pep talk, but I give a little speech before every show to the guys, and I tell everybody this. Like I don't give a fuck who walks through the door. Ultimately, I don't care how many people walk through. This is not, it obviously we're catering to them, but we're also catering to a much bigger audience because my goal is not, it's a piece of it's a local market, but it's not necessarily the local market. It's always the international market and being able to put you in front of other people and put you in front of those bookers and those promoters. Like, do I want a jam-packed crowd? Absolutely. Would I be happy to have it? Absolutely. But do I need it? No. I just need the guys to show up and show out and do what they do because that's what I'm selling. I tell them all the time, oh, do you want me to do this? No. I want you to go in there and do you because I want you to sell them on what I already know. I know that you're good. I know that you're great. And now I need for you to show them. And then if you show them, then opportunities open up because they're, again, like evolutions of what I'm doing. I never thought that I would be asked by international talents to start finding them work over here or vice versa. and companies reaching out and saying, hey, do you know anybody in this area? We're going to be running it on such and such date. Here's the opponent, blah, 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 blah. But that's where we are. And that's what we're doing. So if this door is starting to open now, I know that we can build something here and we can get guys not only work here domestically, and we can get them here domestically and we can get them internationally. And ultimately, that's the name of the game for them. They need to have that in. There's that bridge. And this is just the crazy thing that is professional wrestling. Now, you just mentioned something. Let's talk a little bit about the seminar that is coming up, because it is a big piece of the weekend. It is a massive, massive star that truly needs no introduction. You've already mentioned him and touched on him once, but go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the seminar. The seminar by the call him a goat, man, because the dude's got it.
Dude, getting to have Mustafa Ali on our first ever seminar, I can't even tell you like how excited I am for the students who are going to get to learn from there. It's like I'm going to be in the same room. It's like I got to see. I'm not involved in the business. I'm not taking bumps anymore. Like if you can be a fly on the wall with some of these guys, why wouldn't you? It's I don't even know really where to begin with this guy. I mean, to see the all the impressive things that he did throughout his journey in the WWE, me, what has been more impressive is to see all of the things that he's done outside of that and what he's done at TNA Wrestling and like his feud with Mike Bailey, his feud currently with Elijah. He's doing some impressive stuff. And like ask me like who are like the perfect like wrestlers, like who are like to you like what are the ones that stand out? Like I always think like Eddie Guerrero always stands out. Randy Orton really stands out. Then I start thinking like, okay, what modern guys to me like right now in this generation are ones that I think are going to be way more influential than people I think give credit for. Ali is like right at the very tippy top of that list. I don't think people really give that man the flowers that he deserves, especially in terms of athleticism. In terms of athleticism, I think so many like so many people and fans for years have always used Puck as a bar almost for like what athletic capabilities some wrestlers can reach. I think people have been sleeping on Mustafa Ali and his work, and I think if anyone thought that you can't do anything that incredible once you leave WWE. I mean, there's so many examples that show that that's false. He's just another person to add to that list of when you can give someone a little bit more of creative, I don't want to say control, but when they can mold the character a little more to what they think fits, how they can fit, like play it, you start getting some really awesome stuff. What he's doing on television on a week to week basis is very entertaining. And I'm so grateful that we are able to bring in a wrestler of his caliber to come in and teach these students and anyone that wants to learn from him.
Well, I mean, I'll take it a step further when it comes to Ali. I mean, for those out
So,
there who are want to even go a little deeper, go pre WWE, go back to Chicago, go back to. I mean, he was a building block of the scene there in a time that was post punk. Like when I think of the scene in Chicago on the indie side, I do think punk, and then I think Mustafa. I think that he is a building block and a pillar of that entire scene. And you need to go out and see some of that pre work. I have, and you want to talk about impressive. I mean, he's always been very well rounded. This may be a hot take, and I don't give a fuck. I never thought he was utilized to his top potential when he was signed. I think that he's done much better stuff post signing than he did when he was, and I'd say trapped under contract, because that's what I feel like he was. And to know like that was the first announcement that I saw come out from Heart and Soul, by the way, and that was when I started taking notice, and then I started seeing some friends getting announced, and I went, okay, now let me see what's going on here. And then I started asking. Some people behind the scenes. I was like, what's going on with this? Like, what's up? What is the deal with this? Because from my side of the equation, you have to think too, like as we build this platform and we build this success, just as well as anybody else does, it just takes one bad show. takes one bad situation, and it can everything that you work for can come to an end. So like I have to like vet, and I'm like, what's going on with this? And I'm starting to hear some really good things, and I'm like. So then when the opportunity presents itself to talk, I went, fuck yeah, let's do it, because I need to know more. And now when you attach Ali to this, and you're correct, you may not be able to get out on the show. You may not have a room for everybody. And I understand that concept better than anyone else because I'm dealing with it myself. But that is definitely an avenue to show and get some learning. And it's not a wasted weekend by any means.
And you know what? I will actually break some news right here with you. So you had said right in the intro to this show, card subject to change, and things have to happen. Well, cat's out of the bag. Unfortunately, we did have someone pull out of this show. The Primal Pro champion, Yassine Khan, was originally scheduled to face the Lucha scumbag Chris Nasty
Yeah.
at our inaugural event. Fortunately, Chris Nasty had to pull out due to obligations that we totally understand. He's not able to make our show. We are actively right now trying to find that replacement. And the reason I mention that now is we have people in mind for sure, but if there was ever a writing on the wall, people who want to work for a Heart and Soul Pro show, there's a seminar that you can attend and that I will be there at. And that if you go to and it's just I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it. It's work gets rewarded, and
impress.
People can show up and they can show me that they have every right to be on my card. It can be you wrestling Yassine Khan in that match. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen. It's something that's crossed my mind that we have people who I know are going to come to that seminar, and we might have a slot open on the show. And that's for the future as well. If you see that we have a seminar open, work my promotion, I highly recommend showing up to these seminars because it shows me that want this more than anyone else. That's where we're at with it. Card subject change. I'm hoping that we don't have any other major changes, but we need to bring a hell of a challenger to Yassine Khan at Heart and Soul 1, and just might be someone who's at that seminar.
Well, I feel the same way. What I've had to start doing is obviously guys reach out and they want to get on the show. It's like, well, you can show up. I'll put you on this list, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when we have things happen, and it's happened on the first show, hey man, I need you. You got your gear? Sure. All right. Well, you're in. Hot tag. Like again, something happened obviously with Chuck Mercer. Well, we have a standby list. Hot tag. Hit them up this morning. So get ready, buddy. You're in. And it's you never know what can happen and when it can happen. And you touched on the match that we've got Ali in. I want to talk a little bit about the guy that's opposite Ali. And you said that there's definitely hidden gems, if you will, and this is one of them. Now I will play the ignorant card. I don't know a whole lot about the individual who's going to be stepping opposite ring. So educate me. Who is this gentleman, and why is he getting this big break and this big opportunity?
Dave Dutra has been wrestling since 2008. And that man is 2 years shy of 2 decades of one of the most impressive independent wrestling careers that I've ever had the pleasure of seeing. I've seen so many people come in and out of this business. Some who, go on to big things. Some people who come in, shine for a year, and they immediately fizzle out. I have watched Dave Dutra reinvent himself. And like he said in the promo against Ali, he's been doing this for 18 years without any major backing of any promotion. He's been a guy who has been the epitome of show up and work harder than everybody else, and that's how you earn. And when we were putting this together, originally when you put a show together, you ask, like, who do you want on the show? Who's possible? You send feelers out. I was not 100% sure that we were even going to be able to get Ali on this show. But once we were, and once everything was certain, I knew that I had to find a guy that was going to deliver. who's delivered every single time without you having to emphasize, I need you to deliver. And that is Dave Dutra. He's the underground icon. He's a former underground pro wrestling champion. Like sorry, Shervino. He's a former UGWA champion, Hail UGWA. He has had so many matches that have left me just in awe as a fan. So when we were putting this together, I knew who I could call. I knew that he would deliver in this match, and it's what he's going to do. I, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that anyone who comes to Hardcore 1 is going to see one of the best pro wrestling matches they have ever seen, because these are two veterans that have nearly 45 years between the two of them of experience. They're going to tear the house down. I guarantee that.
I'm already interested. So we just started another series on our channel called the Golden State Spotlight, where obviously we just look into independent wrestling in Southern California, or in California in general. Excuse me, not just Southern California. I'm so accustomed to saying SoCal because it's just, I don't know, Millennium Pro.
It's a long state, brother. It's so much bigger than everyone thinks it is. It is giant.
It is. It's massive. But we started this, so I'm gonna have to put him on that list so we can look at some of his stuff and dive deeper before we get to this event on the 7th, just so I can know for myself and see for myself as I enjoy first, because it'll be a first time watch, and to hear that he's been doing it for 2 decades makes me feel like I've missed an awful lot. What else do we have going on there? Because this card is loaded. This y'all are coming out swinging. And swinging in a big way. What else do we want to talk about card wise?
I can't emphasize enough that this promotion has such a huge inspiration from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And the reason I say that to start this off is that in my wallet, I have the ticket from my first ever show at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla from 6 years ago. And I want to deliver a show that is so good that people keep the ticket in their wallet for the rest of their life, like I'm going to do with that ticket. You mentioned J2 Mattioli earlier. He will be going against, for the first time ever, PNW superstar, the Pacific Northwest own Brannigan. If you have never watched a Matt Brannigan match or have seen a Matt Brannigan promo, I highly recommend going to do that. I know that you said that you partake in the marijuana, so if you I highly recommend doing that and then watching a Matt Brannigan promo. You'll enjoy it even more. That guy is a incredible pro wrestler who I think needs to get more opportunities in SoCal. The guy fits a T of what I think California would represent as a pro wrestler, and I'm happy to bring him down to be facing J2 Mattioli. That is going to be a big contest. We're in the process of trying to even up the stakes in that match, so hopefully we have some more news on that as well. You mentioned the Pump Line, an incredible tag team that has great chemistry. I'm a tall, skinny guy. I wish I moved as good as Boa Silva moved.
Dude.
And him and his partner Antonio Rivers will be teaming up with Mike Rain, another 20-year veteran of the California professional wrestling scene, against Pretty Boy of Pomona, Sanova, and the Lucha Kings, a very decorated tag team in their own right, who's been killing it all over Mexico in the crack. They're an incredible team to be on the look for. Mike Rain. There are men who are jacked, and then there are men who are so jacked it intimidates you. It makes you question what you do when you wake up in the morning. Mike Rain. Mike Rain is going to absolutely show everyone that they need to bask in some glory, and it might be on the side of Team Pipeline.
I am
as well.
For it. Go ahead. Keep going.
As well as you mentioned CJ Tino, who
I did.
I think of all of the pro wrestlers that I was like eager to be as good as when I was training, Tino was probably like the very tippy top of the list. The guy can deadlift. I think he can be wrong, but I want to say he might be able to deadlift like 550, 600. Like the guy's
5'1". Yes.
Like really is something impressive as hell. As is his partner, Jordan Cruz. Jordan
Yes.
Cruz, as well as a staple over at UGWA, I've seen do incredible matches. If I can recommend you a match, I highly recommend going out of your way and checking out Jordan Cruz, Dave Dutra, their former match at UGWA is a incredible barn burner of a match. It really show why we went with these type of guys. But Alpha Instinct having their newly found reunion again take on a momentous challenge. The Mile High Samurai, Royce Isaacs, the goddamn man, Tyler Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the meaty men slapping meat, brother. There's going to be some big man action, strong style affairs. This is what our company's all about. We know that is going to absolutely deliver.
It is, that's insane. When I saw that match go out, like my jaw dropped. I went, oh. And then I saw another one went out after that had Shane Haste attached to it. And I went, God damn, here we go.
A match that absolutely Shane Haste, a pros pro, a former GHC tag team champion, former New Japan tag team champion. The guy is decorated as all hell. He is one of my favorite wrestlers in this modern era, and he's taking on the founder of Heart and Soul Pro Wrestling, TJ Black. This is without a doubt TJ's biggest match to date. This is his biggest test. This is a match that is going to emphasize the term sink or swim. We'll put it out there very bluntly. Yes, the co-founder of our company is wrestling for our company. This isn't negligence. This for sure isn't falling into the right place. This is paying the cost to be the boss. In the words of James Brown himself, this man is put in to deliver this company and to bring it from its base level. And the matchmaker had to come up with someone who was going to really bring this out of him. This match inspires growth. If you're a wrestler and you see that you're wrestling Shane Haste, be hitting the gym twice as hard. You better be checking your diet. You better be putting down the food you shouldn't be eating. You better be constantly working on your craft, because this is a man who is going to bring something out of you. And that's what we're going for. This isn't anything that we're hiding from anyone. TJ Black has to deliver against Shane Haste, because it sets a very big reputation about what we're all about. And so we bring the best, and here's his chance to prove that he belongs on the same moniker as Shane Haste.
I mean, you talk about put up or shut up. Ultimately, that's what it boils down to in that particular situation.
1,000%. And I don't think TJ would have it any other way. TJ is a real athlete, puts in the work, and I think he's going to show people that people need to be aware of who he is. TJ Black is a hell of a performer.
When I saw Haste attached to that, obviously, again, we have a lot of friends out in San Diego, J2 and CJ Tino and the Pump Line and all these cats. So when we've talked to all these guys, and part of conversations that I have with these guys, I ask them, give me some names of people that you want to face. And CJ Tino, when he was on the show, was like, I'd really like to get in there with Shane Haste at some point. So what did I do? I hit up Shane Haste and I said, hey man, I know that this is like, I don't know, 7 months in advance, but I want to try and lock you down for this unless something else more important comes up for the 26th. And no one knows this. They will now. But when we come back to Southern California, I got Tino that match. I was like, Tino, yeah, here you go. And in case if it doesn't happen before then, here you are. It'll be Shane and CJ Tino on the 26th for, I think that's like chapter 7, chapter 8. I don't know. I don't have that spreadsheet in front of me.
Don't you love it when wrestlers that you really fuck with put out a dream list? Because then it makes your job even easier. Like, oh shit, yeah, great. I'll put a match that I know you're going hard into and that it's going to kick ass. So yeah, incredible match. Incredible match.
That'd be the same thing backside of this on the for the Pump Line. Like obviously they're coming out to Florida and doing some stuff. So they hit me up and they say, hey, we really want to work this team better together. And obviously they're out here in Florida. And I went, easy. Let me just hit up Haydar real quick, because he's a friend. I was like, hey, Haydar, are you available on this date? Again, I know 7 months in advance, a lot changes, but tentatively, let's make this happen. So we're able to do that too. And that's the kind of the thing that I love about being able to do this a little bit. And again, I say that I preface this with I don't know how long our live events are going to go, brother. Like I have one business partner that puts money into this just like I do, and you know we don't know. That's the beautiful thing. It's the intangible, right? If we can get it to work, great. If we can't, hey, we fucking tried. It's more than what a lot of people would do. But we are building this thing and trying to make things happen and give these guys that opportunity. You're 100% correct. When you have them say, "Hey, man, I'd love to do this. I'd love to do this." Okay, cool. And then we're in a position to make some things happen like that. It gives them that moment. And I think to the talent, it shows them that they're important, that we listen and we're not because with podcasting, there's two sides. There's the positive side, and there's the negative side, because there's a lot of podcasters out there that really are here for clickbait and really want to just promote whatever they're trying to promote, give two fuck alls about their guest and anything else. They usually are looking for negative connotation. But to be able to have that positive impact, man, it's different, and it just hits different now as I get older.
It always really surprises me when you do a podcast, you give someone a ride, you do something in the business that's very standard, and you're met with like this gratefulness, or it comes from I don't get this all the time. Sometimes the person who drops me off at the airport is a total weirdo who won't stop asking me fan questions. There's podcasts where, like you've mentioned, are very low effort, very clickbaity. I think to be able to recognize what you can provide for these performers and what gives them better experiences. I've had the situations where I show up to a promotion and I wrestle and they just go, "Okay, here's your pay." And they never even asked me what my pay was. I just got paid. I wrestled for $20 that night because that's what someone told me that I wrestled for that night. And that's the stuff that I never want to put any of our performers through. I want to be able to make this a oasis for places to come in, get a really reputable experience, see that this is a really nice, well-produced show, and then they want to come back. The best thing that you can do as a promoter is have so many people wanting to get on, and you got to be the guy that kind of narrows it down of who gets used and who doesn't, and who has to get lined around, in later down the line. So it's a big deal to be able to provide these people some really big opportunities, them great footage for other opportunities. That's what it's all about. We got to help this business grow, and more people doing it on the independent level is definitely helpful.
Well, I think that we're all doing the Lord's work when we try to make the smooth stride for the scene. Really, like I kind of tell everybody, like I tell our live audience, like we're how do we better serve the scene? How do we make it a better place? Again, the world's already negative enough, and there's negative connotation out there with independent wrestling and wrestling in general. So why do I need to fucking cater to that? I don't. I look for the positive. Even with stuff that we watch, like we don't always watch the coolest things. There's some stuff that's hard to get through, but we got to find the positive aspect of it because it's there. Let's find that and let's focus on that. Like I take the Paul Heyman approach. Excuse me. Accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. Somebody fucks up in the ring and they make a mistake. We figure out how quick do they correct. How fast did the crowd come back? How fast did they transition and get back on track together and collectively and get the match back on track? We acknowledge the fact that there's a mistake because it's there. But we don't, it's like, oh my God, this guy slipped on the fucking rope again, or this guy did this again. No, it's like, all right, listen to that crowd, rolled right back into this, transitioned right back into this. Try to make it look good, because nothing's perfect, and we all make mistakes. And when people do jump on the negative aspect of it, I always ask them to look in the mirror. Are you perfect?
It's live, pal. It's live, pal, and
Yeah.
you can't you can't hide everything. The truth is like everyone who we brought in are people who I think are some of the best of the best. We booked an incredibly stacked card, but there's going to be cards where we give people opportunity matches, and it's really hey, I want to see more, and I want to see if you can do it against certain guys, and we can't wait to deliver those to people either. The truth is, like you said, no one's perfect. This business, I think, is full of negative. It's full of a lot of I don't want to say gatekeepers, but it feels like there's so many there's so many spots that never feel like they're ever going to open. And I think one of the good things about pro wrestling is that if you are serious, if you are reputable and you work with people who are reputable as yourself, you can create and you can add on to this culture and you can really help establish some things. I'd be lying to you if I said that I didn't hope that Ali and Dutra had its own picture in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, because I think that that's what that match deserves. And I would love for my first ever show to be able to put itself on that level. I want to have it recognized to that degree, because one thing that one thing that I think that you and me as like promoters can definitely kind of relate to is that if you have the opportunity to put on a match that really like exceeds a one night showing. And what I mean by that is there were times in COVID where it's like you're watching these individual matches, you're watching, from all over the world. Good match can live on the internet forever. And that can be used 10 years from now, where it is not just, oh, wow, this was a great main event for our first ever professional wrestling show. I hope this match is so good, and I hope the production that we deliver for the match is so good that students all over watch that match and go, hey, I used that match to help me get better at wrestling. It becomes something a lot deeper than just this one cool match, great match for our card. It becomes something where it's almost like in the history books of wrestling of what independent wrestling was. The one that really speaks to like mind that I'm thinking of, Zack Sabre Jr. for some reason is just really good at having one-off matches that will just stand the test of time. For example, the one with Kurt Angle and Rev Pro,
Yep.
I think will stand the test of time forever. And then my favorite match of all time, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Chuck Taylor for the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Championship. That match to me was such a embodiment of the two sides of professional wrestling that honestly everyone who's in the business is very open about. Some of us want to be like Antonio Inoki, and some of us want to be this epitome of sport where your toughness and your grit and your professionalism is a pinnacle to who you are as a performer. And the guy who fits that in the modern era 100% is Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher doesn't have social media. Timothy Thatcher is a pro wrestler's pro wrestler. Then you have the opposite side of that, where we're very aware that it is totally possible to wrestle a show in front of 3 people, in front of like under a highway. Like the amount of carny that this business can reach is unprecedented. So, and Chuck Taylor has seen every ounce of that. He's wrestled in those bingo halls. He wrestled in front of those crowds that don't give a shit and probably didn't pay money to watch the show. So that match to me speaks on something so much deeper in this business, that everyone's roots are different. Tommy Invincible is a very interesting person who I did not expect to be talking to you about on this podcast. But one of the things I will say about Tommy Invincible is that I respect so much from a performer. Yes.
Yes,
so
sir.
much when a performer, when someone is capable doing both sides, when you can be on AEW for a brief moment, when you can be in GCW angles, when you can be at kids' birthday party matches, or even worse quality than that, that is the business. And as much as people want to hide or be what they aren't and be this, look, there's a image and a file that we are trying to capture as Heart and Soul Pro Wrestling. Respect every upbringing that this business puts everyone through. And so that, to go back to that match, Zack Sabre versus Taylor, it just goes to show you, man, everyone's path is different. And both of those guys have had some really incredibly legendary careers. And it all goes back to them wrestling shows that could have been a show that something like you and me put on. I hope that Dave Dutra is someone who gets more opportunities after this. He deserves it. And I hope that for all the people that we book, and I'm sure you believe that, you hope that as well for everyone that you do is in your show.
Well, I think for us, where I'm a little bit different is like again, like I got a couple of these guys, and I didn't know, right? I didn't know what was going to happen after show one. I knew that I wanted to show our international friends that this was possible because I wasn't thinking about a domestic run at all. That was not, it wasn't in my head because we're bigger overseas than we are in the States. Our presence in the States is growing massively every week, but our real fucking chunk of our audience is overseas. It's in the UK, it's in Australia, it's in Malaysia, it's in South America. It's all over the place. But we have this massive reach, and I thought that best case scenario, I show them that we're serious about doing something, and now we can plot and plan and do a loop, like a 2 or 3 week run, and do 3 or 4 shows in that run, right? And I could take 6 or 7 guys overseas, and we could go and mix with talent from these different areas that I already know and companies that I already know, and we could try something. Needless did I know, or needless did I think that when that popped off, that I'm not going to say that we don't have friends in high places because we do. I didn't know that one of our friends in a very high place was going to pass the word around to some very reputable names on the scene. We're not there yet. And that's what that's what I had to tell these guys. Like, listen, like I'm not there. Like I got to figure some stuff out. But it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I get a rant. I have ADHD, and I think I just kicked in and forgot where the fuck I was going with that. Like at
Buddy,
all.
I do it all the time. You're totally okay. Look, I just think that you and me are both definitely on the same page in terms of make the best with what you can do. It's one show at a time. Like all praise to these promotions that get 10-year anniversary shows. I hope we can join you one day.
Yeah, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm gonna tell you what I am gonna do. And I'm gonna have a lot of fun along the way, and I'm gonna try to put our product in and put the product of those that we're watching in front of as many people as possible. And here's an interesting thing, or not necessarily an interesting, a match that I am looking forward to that we didn't really touch on, because it has a piece of talent that I definitely have my eye on, and I see as someone who will be locked down in the next 5 years. There's no guarantee. There's no doubt about it. I'm calling it now. And if it doesn't happen, shame on the fucking wrestling business. But it is your scramble match. It's got JT Thorne, Joey Lancaster, who I think is a fantastic heel, Bryn Thorne, Nick Stevens, and I'm talking about Jake Redondo. I think the Radiant Sun is absolutely tremendous. And I do think that this is a guy that this could be a really big breakout match for him altogether, especially with everybody involved in this as well.
These scramble matches are some of my favorite to put together because there's a method to my madness. These are not feel like scramble matches can just be any 5 people put together. There's definitely a formula that I follow when I put these ones together. But what I can say is that 2 of the 5 people in that match, both being primal regulars in Joey Lancaster and Dick Redondo, they were no brainers, and there becomes like a thing where like, do I have a match good enough almost for these guys? Because when both of those guys are good enough to wrestle Ali in our main event, if you ask me. I think
Sure.
those are completely capable wrestlers who are going to have a tremendous next 2 years. Like you said, someone doesn't pick up Jake Redondo on a televised deal, I don't know what they're missing, man. This guy is money. Like, and his dad is second generation wrestler. It is a testament how well his dad, showed him the business and helped him come up in this business the right way.
Facts.
I think there's a lot of people don't come in, necessarily the right way. Seems like there's way more that do. I think that like Jake Redondo, Titus Alexander from NorCal, I think those are the 2 best second generation wrestlers I've ever seen. And there's more that I'm like, Unaki's son
Yes.
is someone who I've heard is really good. I need to look a little more in them. They're all over the place. There's Kerry Morton, like there so many good second generation wrestlers now. Glad to see being shown the right path in the business. And Jake is he's a golden retriever of a person, salt of the earth. I can't say enough good things about the guy. He is going to face a hell of a challenge in this scramble match because much as you and me are a little more maybe familiar with Joey and Jake, the three people that I think people aren't as familiar with in this match in the San Diego area are JT Thorne, Nick Stevens, and Bryn Thorne. Incredible wrestlers in their own right. Nick Stevens, one half of the golden era with my opinion, one of the most athletic wrestlers on the planet. Hands down, it's not even close. This guy is jacked as shit. Like it's ridiculous. So the athleticism that this man is going to this crowd asking is going to be something really incredible. Bryn Thorne is one of the best wrestlers in Arizona, an area that I have a lot of eyes on and that I think is a booming area and has a ton of slept on talent. I think Bryn is among the best of them, as well as JT Thorne, the very first graduate from the West Coast Pro Wrestling Academy. He's gotten tons of work with Vinny Massaro, with Levi Shapiro, with Starboy Charlie. This guy is a great wrestler. He's coming off, I think, his second tour of Japan. He's been doing awesome things, and I think he's going to really deliver in this match as well. The crowd does not like JT Thorne on a routine basis. They don't like Joey Lancaster even more. So I can't wait to hear the reaction that this match really garners from the fan base there.
I mean, the whole show is just stacked. It's loaded. It sounds like it's gonna be a fantastic day, an evening to say the very least. And you guys, again, you're not pulling any punches, and you're coming out swinging. And there's a lot of big opportunity here, and a lot of growth opportunity as well for other talents who are out there. And again, I want to stress this: like, if you're not booked on this show, show up for the seminar. If you didn't read in between the motherfucking lines earlier, I don't know what to tell you, because like it was just like painting a picture to show the fuck up and get there and show out. Is there any way? I mean, we talked a little bit. We didn't talk too much about production here. So obviously, the event will be filmed. Are you guys going to be streaming the event, or is there? How can people take a look at this after the fact? Is there any kind of distribution in play? What's that look like?
Yeah, so the big thing, this was something that we had to kind of come together as a group and make a decision on, and kind of where we're at now. We will not be streaming live for Heart and Soul 1. This will be a show that will be fully post-edited and made available on YouTube and to the greater public in post-production. I want to give people really epic matches that they can sit down and watch on their own time. I've seen a lot of around the edges streaming productions and sometimes when you do a new promotion, and it's not something I want to put my production team through right away. I think streaming is definitely in cards and is going to happen down the future. But I would be pressed to say that one of the things that made me love Pro Wrestling Guerrilla the most was that there was a mystique about that promotion, and that if you wanted to watch a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show, you either had to be there or you had to wait for that ass preview that they put out on YouTube and that everyone was stoked to click on right as it hit their notifications. So that's what we're trying to do. I make it to where if we come to your town, come to this show, because you don't want to miss it. Like I said, we're not based anywhere. From Northern California, I'll probably come back to Southern California for Heart and Soul Pro. Who knows where we're going to end up next, and who knows where we're going to go. So eventually, love to see us on a good streaming platform with a good partner. I think really fits the quality and the consistency that we're looking for. I've seen so many instances where even when the production teams are good, streaming just has this issue of sometimes taking the wind out of the sails, and I'm not trying to do that. I really believe in our production team and being able to put together a really awesome show, as well as individual matches that will be edited and put up for after post editing, and will be on YouTube and all of our social medias for people to watch. We're trying to work on seeing if we can get all full matches on, Instagram. If not, highlights will be there, and then full matches will be on our YouTube. We want people to see our stuff, but we want them to see it in a way where they can enjoy it in a highest quality possible way.
So here's where I was at. As you said, we were of the same mind. Obviously I am a streamer, right? Like I have the capabilities. I've got the cameras. I got all this shit, and everybody was talking to me at chapter 1, which by the way was supposed to be a one-time show. That was it. And then that was say I did it. And we put on a show, and then obviously now here we are. We're doing 10 shows across 2026, and or scheduled to do 10. I'll put it that way. We didn't stream show 1. I did post produce it, and again, learning as I go here. But I had the opportunity to do 2 stream chapter 2, and I used some productions people that were at the building. Man, it came out nice. It came out looking good. I was really happy with the overall, even though it was put together within a couple of days. And I now know that like going to Orlando, we're probably going to live stream those events, but there will be events that we do that'll be pre-taped, or not pre-taped, but will be produced and post and put out there as well, just depending on where we're at. At the end of the day, I can appreciate that as well. I love the fact that it's going to be put out there. So that tells me that when it's produced and it's put together, that tells me that we need to be circling back around doing a watch party. That's what that tells me.
Buddy, I'm all here for it. I would love to sit down with you and get to, show your audience some more of these matches if they want to watch along with us. This is going to be one of the best pro wrestling shows I think this crowd base has ever seen. We plan on doing more. We're coming out swinging. This was the first one. And probably within the next month or so, there's going to be information on Heart and Soul 2.
I love to hear that. I don't want to go any deeper than that because I don't want to piss off anybody that may be working with you. But there was something that you did touch on that I would be remiss if I did not at least acknowledge. And that was that you guys are not based anywhere. You said it a couple of times. And as you are aware, maybe you're not. And if you're not, you will be now. I'm really big on collaborations. And I'm really big on working with different people in different companies, and depending on what we're doing, it looks like different things. So that tells me that we need to have some conversations about possibly doing a collaboration event sometime down the line. May not be in 2026, it could be. You never know, because let's just say stranger things have always happened, right? It sounds like we need to have conversations.
We definitely do. Said you're primarily based in Florida. Now, are we talking northern Florida? Are we talking southern Florida? What are we talking?
I'm in Gainesville. When we run in Florida, we run out of Orlando, right outside of Orlando.
You are in Gainesville. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Gainesville, but it's about a 2-hour drive.
Give me just one moment. I'm gonna do something real quick. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Just give me one moment here.
Yeah, go ahead. As he's doing what he needs to do, he's probably going to put on some gator gear.
No.
Oh, thank God. Thank God, dude.
Because I am a absolute Florida sport brother. Oh man, them Canes, Bubba. It's all you. Yeah, no, I am always looking to get back to Florida because it gives me a better chance that I can either see my Miami Heat or my Miami Hurricanes. So I might have to drive a few hours down south for sure, because trust me, this is the exact situation that people think Northern California, Southern California. But no, I will drive my ass down that coast, and I will get down to North Beach.
Well, I'm just saying it's probably only about a 2-hour hoof from where we run shows. If that sweetens the pot and sweetens the deal. But yeah, no, I really would like to have conversations. Like I'm talking, I have our first collab show with One Division Pro. They're based out of New York, and it's literally just I don't know, the way that we're running that one is we're splitting the cost of the building, and they're putting on 3 matches. I'm putting on 4. And we'll pay for our talent, they pay for their talent, and we just go from there and utilize and work with local markets that we're already utilized and working with, and seeing what we can do and seeing what's possible, right? Like this first one in January, February, March, April will be like kind of my first test to just see and see what it looks like, and see what the concept, and see if it works. At least if it works with, with One Division Pro, which I think it will. We have a great relationship with them, and they've already kind of told me what they're bringing to the table. I've kind of told them what we're bringing to the table, and we're going to put together like what we think is a pretty good show that showcases independent wrestling, because that's why we're here. Um, and even if it's down the line, like working with us on a SoCal show, or working with us on a San Antonio show, and we're talking to Atlanta, we're talking to Chicago, we're talking to New England, and we're talking to Pennsylvania right now. Like, there's a lot of conversations that are being had, and I think that there's big opportunities for everybody to make some sort of impact here, especially if it's like-minded people that are working towards the common goal. And it sounds like, at least from my side of the equation, it sounds like from your side of the equation, the common denominator is the talent, and making sure that we put on a great show for them that's worth their time, which is going to translate into the audience, and the audience having a good time, and them wanting to come back. And everyone attached to this show has a lot to offer, and a lot to offer from not only the scene there, but the scene internationally as well, with other pieces of talent who are here, like the Alis, and like the Haste, and just several other pieces of talent who have done international stuff. This is going to be a great show, and I think that it's going to open the door to do a lot of other things for you guys moving forward.
I think that we will definitely be in talks. I think you and me can put our brains together and come up with a pretty good solution here. I think that this crowd is going to be very appreciative to the show that we have to give them. March 7th in San Diego on Mercury Street. Guys, that's where you need to be. If you're not there for the show, be there for the seminar. If you're not there for either and you just want to meet Mustafa Ali, actually absolutely have that available as well. Tickets are still available on our Eventbrite. Come in, show out. We want you guys to have all the fun.
Well, let me ask you this before we close it out: is that for sponsorship opportunities? Does that still exist? Is there if it does, who do people need to reach out to? Obviously, we have a wide reach, and that seems to be a way that I can help. As a simple Klipski, it sounds like you need to be
Yep.
contacting Heart and Soul Pro. What are there sponsorship packages, or what does that look like? Would you get back with somebody?
Yeah, currently people can reach out either to Heart and Soul Pro, gmail.com. If you would like to link our email, our little description, we'll have that where people can go ahead and reach out to us for sponsorships. Basically, yeah, you can either do that or reach out to DMs on Instagram. That's our primary social media where we get a lot of our business done, and we talk to a lot of talent as well as our sponsors. And yeah, of course, we still have a couple sponsor spots available for people. They'll be announced during the show. They'll be having their own exclusive graphic. They will be on our final show poster. There will be a big thank you post to all of them individually after the event, kind of going over them and just trying to get people more involved. Spots available and the guy to talk to. So if anyone is looking to sponsor Heart and Soul Pro 1 San Diego on March 7th, get at your boy.
And that is Heart and Soul Pro, guys. It's been on the screen the entire show. If you have not followed and you have not done so, shame on you. And we are no longer friends. I've had such a great time just chatting a little bit about what is going to be an incredible event coming up on the 7th. I can't wait to circle around, do a watch party to it once it all gets said and done, and we can see how this thing shakes out and how all of this plays out, because I have a lot of friends on this show, and I know how big of an opportunity this is, because it's bringing a lot of light to the scene in California, not just in SoCal, but it's going to exceed that, and it's going to turn into, it's like I refer to our platform, the small little brush fire. And in this case, I do not wish brush fires on the state of California, but in professional wrestling, this could be a brush fire that starts a movement in a
Yes, sir.
world where toxicity and people, tribalism is probably a better word to use. Like, I'm not for tribalism in any form or fashion. I'm against it. I believe that we can all work together, and this sounds like that this is a way that and I'm sure that it's in every state. I know it's here in Florida. I know it's across the world. I'm not talking about anything that's not already there, guys. But this is a way that just shows that this is your way out. This could be a way to kind of curb a little bit of that, because that's what we're doing here. I think that we can put rosters of talent from all over together and have a positive experience and then go back and tell everyone else, you need to check these guys out. It's happened with us. It's going to happen here. It's going to be an epic ride. I thank you so much today, Phil, for your time, and just and looking forward to kind of building this relationship and seeing where this goes from here. And of course, my door's open to you for chapter 3. If you want to come up and check it out, I'll put you on our list, and you'll be able to hang out and see what we've got going on as well. It is definitely our first stop in SoCal. We will be back in September, and we'll see what we can do there as well. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the people before we close it out?
No, man, thank you so much for getting me on your platform. I appreciate it. If you guys watched all the way through, you guys are the best. That's what we're all here for. It's for the long form. I hope you listen to me babble on your morning commute or something.
Oh, I have a lot of really good clips. That'll be fantastic when I get through and I go through the edit process. So, guys, I appreciate you for hanging out with us and taking the time to really hear about what's going on with Heart and Soul Pro. For my guest today, Phil, I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.